Hello, my name is Jamie Burchell, and you are listening to and or watching our podcast called Wormhole Pinball
Wormhole
Presents.
Pinball presents.
Wormhole Pinball Presents.
Today, I'm very, very excited to be joined by two great individuals.
Today, I'm really excited to be joined by a very special guest.
And today, I'm very excited to be joined by two awesome guests all the way from Arizona.
My name is Erin Winick Anthony, and you are listening to Wormhole Pinball Presents, a podcast we started to highlight those in pinball and arcades. And I'm not typically the voice you're probably used to listening to. No, I am not Jamie Burchell, but today, because we are at the 50th episode of this podcast, we're doing something a little special. And that something special is that today's guest is none other than your favorite host, Jamie Burchell. Welcome to your own podcast, Jamie.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, such a pleasure. You've definitely not done this 50 times before now, but thanks for giving me the honor of hosting this. I feel so special. Roll out the red carpet for you for this big milestone.
Oh, I'm so appreciative. Thank you so much for doing this. We thought, look, what are we going to do for the 50th? We threw a bunch of ideas around, and I thought this was a pretty good one. So let's reverse the roles.
Exactly. Yeah. For this one, you didn't have to rate any questions. Donovan and I prepped some hurry ups for you at the end.
Oh gosh.
And well, to start out, how does it feel to be at 50 podcast episodes?
Yeah, it feels really good. I think when people start podcasts, they have this idea and it kind of forms to something else, but I never thought, we could hit 50. I thought, I didn't know that people would still be listening. So it's really nice.
That's good. I'm assuming you have more people listening now than when you started. So
Oh my
you've
God,
been
yeah,
building.
it's like tripled.
Wow, that's awesome. And how has the podcast changed from episode one and kind of like what you originally envisioned this to be when you started?
I wanted to do an interview series. I don't think I can hold the mic myself and just talk like a Canada can or a Retro Ralph or Don.
Sure.
Don't have that. Not really in my wheelhouse. So I'm just being a recruiter. I love to interview people. So I'm real excited about some of the stories that we've told so far in the 50.
Yeah.
I also didn't think Arcades Across America would ever happen. I thought that was just something that was germinating in the back of my head. And I kept talking to people about it. And I'm like, what do you think about this idea? And it was really like Rachel, Kale, Moto, Ian, Jacoby, they kind of really helped me go, this is a really good idea. Keep pushing that. So one a month will be an interview, and then one a month moving forward, we'll try to be in Arcades Across America. So
amazing. And how do you think now you're thought of more as a podcaster or as a streamer? Because like I still think of Jamie like the Twitch streamer, but I feel like a lot of people listen to the podcast now.
So it's interesting. Where are we going to wind up in the Twippy category? I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be considered a streamer or a podcaster. It's really up to the Twippy committee, and I guess that's maybe we are a Twitch stream that also podcasts, or maybe we're a podcaster that also Twitch streams. I don't know.
So you let the Twippies decide it for you, which one you are now.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. That sounds fine. Let Colin and his group decide what they want to call us.
That's good. Well, do you have any dream guests that you still want to have on? I know we've talked about a few that I don't think have made it on yet. Like, do you have any new dream ones, or what's your one that's still up there?
Yeah, I just really think I would have a really fun conversation with Jason Sudeikis. I really, really do. I think I would have. I loved his show. I loved that skit that he did for Saturday. It was even before he did Ted Lasso. That was a commercial for NBC, and that was just a joke skit, and I love that. So I'd love to just talk to him really about, being a pinball player and loving this stupid hobby. So that would be my goal. We'll get him.
We'll keep mentioning it because eventually someone's going to hear it who has the connection, who's going to make it happen for you.
Yeah.
Love it.
I actually, we're about 6 degrees of separation from someone.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I used to be 6. I think I'm about 3 now.
Hey, that's progress. The more you podcast, eventually you'll get there, right?
Sorry, there's
maybe
flying in here.
You're fine. Like episode 100, episode 200, like you got to think of another milestone.
I'm not going to put a time limit
up.
on it. It's going to happen. I'll make that happen, right? It's the same thing. Like everyone laughed when I said I'm going to get Alter Bridge here. and I'm going to get, Mark Tremonti to the wormhole. Everyone's like, you're crazy. I'm like, all right, you'll see. I'll get it.
Yeah.
I did it.
So what makes you want to start on a new project like that or like this? Like I get random texts from Jamie at random times with ideas for new videos and podcasts and events. Like what is your spark behind like taking on those new big things?
Oh, I think I'm an entrepreneur. I am an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. My wife and I own a staffing firm, and I
Hmm.
started that firm 5 weeks before 9/11. So I'm kind of used to adversity and I'm used to
Sure.
starting companies. So
Uh-huh.
I enjoy the building aspect of the wormhole itself, right?
Mm.
If you look at our story, there was just 6 to 8 of us sitting in this place during COVID. And then the idea comes, okay, do you want a Twitch stream?
Hmm.
And then the idea was like, yeah, but I wanted the podcast first, to be truthful.
Mm. Wow.
I wanted to do the podcast, and it was John and everyone else because we were watching Jack Danger, right?
Yep. Of course.
And so we were like, can we do this with these
Hmm.
really cool machines? That was our initial premise. So, but even that stream grew, that changed, if you will,
Yeah.
because that used to be for if you go back on YouTube, you can watch all these old streams, but that used to
Hmm.
be me standing next to the rig.
Yeah. You got to do an old style stream like that at some point coming up, I feel like.
It changed a lot when we made that move because it was
Yeah.
more us playing dollar games, fooling around.
That's fair. Being more
Okay.
professional.
And then we kind of moved it back behind this spot, and it
Hmm.
is a little more professional, but we took away a little bit of the fun. John's
Yeah.
John Spates was right about that. So we just I didn't know what it was going to become, and now we're streaming major tournaments like Space City Open and TPF. Like who the hell would have saw that coming, right?
Right. Totally. And so, do you have another dream pinball project? Like, what can I expect another Jamie text from about coming up? Or,
Well, you know what my one idea is, and I don't really want to say that. Should I?
sure,
I shouldn't
anything
say.
more shooting for the stars, even above that, you know? The one
Oh,
you want to put your flag in the ground and just put out there and then see if anyone can make happen.
yeah, I'll say it. I mean,
Up to you, man.
I'll say it. I want to do a television show. I think I would
Yeah.
be very good at a television show. I think it'd be
Mm.
a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
Me and you visiting arcades across America, truly for like a YouTube series or for a
Yeah.
something that I really want to do. And so we're trademarking arcades across America. I don't know.
Hmm.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's God, that would just be an amazing thing if we were able to do something like that.
That'd be so cool. Because I mean, there's so many times in the podcast too, you tell people, I'd love to come visit you at your place and play these games. And
I
something like
know.
that could actually make it happen too. Because it's hard to go to Germany and Arizona and Oregon and everywhere and make it all happen. But sometimes you need that little spark to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, your husband told me to get writing, and so I have started writing those
Okay.
scripts and those things and watching the type of shows that I really love,
Mm-hmm.
how I think this would look and artistically what it should be, you know, not just diners, drive-ins and whatever that show
In
is
arcades.
in
But yes, yeah.
arcade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have a different slant that we want to push, and I think that that's a good little. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, the podcast, I think, has been a great way to pioneer that and test it out and get all the connections with such a cool community. Because I think you've built out your like network of arcade owners so much since starting all of this too.
And some are reaching out to us, which is so crazy, right,
Uh,
Erin? And it's
yeah.
so exciting that they're reaching out to us because I want to tell their story too. But I'm only
Yeah.
doing one a month, so I'm a little booked up. So
Yep.
we'll make it happen, though. It's
Yeah.
great.
Well, that's why the roundtable format works really well too. You get more than just one person on for those as well.
Those can be challenging too because you get one personality that's a little more dominant than the other personalities, here I am trying to,
Be the
be your host.
mediator.
So it's
Yeah.
fun though. We're learning. We're learning. Just like the first podcast was 20 minutes with Phil Grimaldi. That was it.
Yeah.
It was just 20 minutes. I was so darn nervous. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
What I find is when people are sitting next to me, though, Erin,
Uh-huh.
much more nervous.
Hmm. Interesting.
Don't typically don't worry too much about this.
So you do so many Zoom interviews for your job too, right? Like that's what
Yeah,
you're
so
used to.
I'm so easy. It's just it's no worries for me.
Yeah.
But when they're sitting next to me, I get a little nervous.
Okay.
But I'll work on
Well,
it. Something to work on for the CV for the television show if we ever get there.
exactly. All right. And now you always ask guests this, so I think it's only appropriate for me to ask you. You always talk about origin story. And
Mhm.
so I think you've talked a lot about the wormhole specifically as origin story, but I want to hear more about your pinball origin story. Where did that kind of spark for you?
Well, it's Tim Hood and Christine. I know people love origin stories, so I'll try to do very, very quickly, right?
You're fun.
This is to Ian Jacoby, who doesn't love origin stories. Uh, yeah, so I coached Tim's kids in
Hmm.
soccer, and that's how we met. And Janine and Christine have been friends for since the kids were little, and our
Okay.
boys are very similar ages. So I was Coach Jamie. I always coached Jamie, and they lived near us in a small town. And Tim got into pinball in college, but he kind of got into pinball again. His wife bought him a whitewater and a fishtails for his birthday,
Hmm.
and he like started inviting me over to come play these things, and I just didn't get it. I
Yeah.
just didn't get it, and little by little, he keeps wearing me down, like, come over, keep playing. And then he moved to Houston, and I didn't see him as much, but his collection increased. He had a bigger spot, he bought more machines, and
Hmm.
he really started busting my butt in about 2018, 2019.
Okay.
So I started going over there, I started playing, and the, he invited me to league night, and league night was at 1820 bar next to Joysticks in Houston, and any of the originals would know League at 1820 is a lot of fun.
Hmm.
But the problem is the guy that owns that bar also owns all the parking lots around, and
Uh-huh.
those parking lots make him a lot of money during Astro games. So he's not going to allow a bunch of pinballers.
Got priorities. Yeah.
So that league is hard to organize, truthfully.
Hmm.
But I just went one day and I met Chris Powell, Tandy, people that
Hmm.
that are the nicest people on the planet. And then they made me come to a Saturday at Game Preserve up north because that was
Okay.
it. You had Game Preserve up north in 2019, and Einstein's and Katie
Hmm.
and League, and that is all you have. If you want to go look at Space City calendar right now, go to spacecitypinball.com and look at our calendar now. It's
Yeah.
insane, but not in
Packed.
2019.
Yeah.
And so I went up there just to hang and check out the Game Preserve, and John Spates paid my way
Hmm.
and
Okay.
made me play in the tournament. And then Mark Gammons gave me an IPA number, and that's it. I got hooked.
That's all the same guys that pull me in too, you know? So
I
I,
know.
I, I love it. They're experts at it, right?
It's the community, really. But I
Yeah.
also think for those that don't play competitive pinball, if you have any competitiveness in you at all,
Hmm.
competitive pinball will scratch that itch.
Yeah, that's for
Because
sure.
it's unbelievable. And then the community is so unbelievable because they start helping you because they're tired of watching you not change your inlanes and your
Yeah.
pops, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
You don't know what a skill shot is. You don't have an idea. So after
Hmm.
that game, people like Gina Lowe will sit you down and go, "Hey, let me
Uh-huh.
just show you a couple of things." And that's what happened to me. She
Yeah.
showed me a bunch on no good golfers,
Huh.
and I went,
Okay.
"Oh, all right. It's not just keeping the ball alive."
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my origin story. And then, of course, the wormhole uh, happened during COVID,
Mhm.
and I got even just more addicted to it. Just got addicted to playing. I used to be a really good golfer,
Yeah. That
and
was your competitive outlet then?
that was my competitive outlet. It was golf my whole life, and then this has ruined my golf game completely. Shot it to hell. It's gone. I don't.
All pinball's fault?
Yeah, the sticks are in storage. That's how
Okay.
sad it is.
Wow. Well, you're gonna have to do something where you host like a pinball a golf tournament for the pinball community, show off your skills and be like, you're gonna have to get people over there.
I I'd like to say that I could pick up the sticks and still break 90
Couldn't do
today.
it.
I
Yeah.
think I could.
You could?
90.
Okay.
Cause I used to be like really good. Like I was a 5 handicapper when a 7 when I retired from
Uh-huh.
pinball. But
Cool. Well, you know, it's funny. You mentioned kind of like soccer was your pinball origin story, but it's also your first Pinball Machines World Cup soccer
yeah,
and your podcast origin story too, right? Like I think
Yeah,
your first podcast you hosted was soccer, right?
I
Soccer thing?
did. It was called Lost Boys, and Bhoys is called a boy. A boy is a Celtic supporter.
Okay.
Okay. And Glasgow Celtic FC, and then a lost boy would be that is who's overseas, right? So
Okay.
my friend was from Scotland, and another friend was from Northern Ireland, and they were huge Celtic sports, still are to this day.
Hmm.
And they started a podcast, and I would start to go watch these games at 6 in the morning at his house,
Wow.
and I got addicted to Celtic FC. I didn't have a soccer team growing up,
Uh-huh.
we had the Cosmos in New York, but I was really young. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I got hooked on this team, and then he starts a podcast, and he brings me in one time for like 10 minutes just to talk about Celtic itself,
Hmm.
and I killed it. Like it was really good. I did a good segment, if you will.
Uh-huh.
I was playing up the dumb American, of course, Aaron, but
Hmm.
uh, and that podcast like took off. Like we were getting 10,000 downloads a podcast. This is 2007.
Wow.
And you had to download it, ladies and gentlemen. This wasn't streaming. You couldn't stream a podcast. You literally downloaded it from Apple
Hmm.
onto your iPad or
iPod, I think.
iPod.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we would get the download number. So we didn't know if they listened, but if
Hmm.
they were taking up space, we figured they were listening. So,
Probably. Yeah.
and then they moved. Unfortunately, my friend Chris moved back up north in 2010. He moved to Northern Ireland again, and
Okay.
unfortunately, Zoom, like we're doing today,
Hmm.
was not very good in 2010. The audio sucked, everything stunk, so we just couldn't do Lost Boys anymore. So
Uh,
that's
well,
where that podcast went. And I was just the dumb American sidekick, really, but I know soccer so well that I could sound like I knew what I was talking about enough.
sure. Well, if you ever stream World Cup soccer, you should get him on or something to commentate and reunite your old podcast or whatever.
That would be so funny to call Chris McGuigan.
I don't know who this guy is, but I
He's
feel
the
like this
best
past
too,
your
by the way.
podcast origins,
He's the best. He's the best dude. He's the best. And I still follow Celtic to this day.
Amazing. I know you have a team for almost every sport, I feel like. So,
I'm a sport fan. I love sports. So it's a little different than most of the pinball community. I talk sports with Donovan on
uh-huh.
Twitch, and I know I'm losing viewers every time I do it. But
Oh, don't worry. We have some hurry up questions from Donovan about sports at the
oh,
end.
good.
So,
Oh
yes.
boy. Oh boy.
And you're wearing the Yankee hat, so it's very appropriate.
Yeah. So that was my origin story of Lost Boys, and
Okay.
then that went away, and I didn't have like an itch because
Hmm.
I always wanted to do something in radio or something
Right.
dramatic, but it just never happened for me, right?
Yeah.
And then I became my kid's sports announcer for
Oh,
lacrosse.
fun.
I lost both of my boys to soccer for lacrosse.
Okay.
Once they figured they could hit someone, that was it, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So they needed an announcer for the varsity team, and I was the voice of Pearland Railcats for 5 years.
Amazing. Voice of
Yeah.
the wormhole, voice of the Railcats. So,
I was a really damn good announcer too, which kind of then when we started doing the Twitch, when we thought about doing Twitch, I was like, I call lacrosse games. I could
mhm.
totally call a pinball game.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
say things that are goofy that I would say if I called the lacrosse game, like unlucky,
Yes, sure.
right?
Your signature line.
Some of
Yeah.
those vernaculars, some of those lines that I would use for lacrosse are now on the pitch for lacrosse are now being used at Wormhole Pinball. It's all
Wonderful.
full circle.
I love it. And so we know you as the face of the wormhole, and that's like
Boy.
we hear your voice and see you on stream. What are some of the other different roles that other wormholers hold as far as keeping things going, promoting the brand, bartending, all of those
Oh
things?
yeah. So there's five of us, and
Mhm.
I'm glad you brought this up because we're almost done with the 501c3. So we will be
Oh,
a Wormhole Pinball Foundation, and we'll
great.
be a charity, and we'll be helping those that are neurodivergent. More of that to come. But Tim and Christine are on the board of directors with John Spates,
Hmm.
and Tim is in charge of finances.
Hmm.
John Spates is in charge of operations. Christine is the president of the foundation. Janine is responsible for a lot of operations and rentals and a lot of different stuff. And I was given social media. So that's kind of.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And I know that you all, if you go to Wormhole, you'll sometimes see them wearing shirts with their jobs on the back, the more
Right.
unofficial roles of cruise director, bartender, those sort
Right.
of
We're
actual
having fun
titles
with
for
it.
it too. Yeah.
And Janine doesn't play pinball, either does Christine.
Mm-hmm.
But they love the community and they love to come here and they love rentals, they love bartending, and they love the space and the people. So
Yeah. They usually come and hang out for the first, hour or so of the tournament. And then after we've been here way too long, then they go run off and do their
we
own
need
thing,
to have them come in like later, like be a fresh
Mm,
face when we're all sick of seeing each other.
that's
And
true.
me and you are, well, more me rocking three strikes and trying to
Yeah.
hang in there.
Hey,
I could use that upbeat when they come in later. That's what we should work on.
that's it. Yeah. I like it. And so, okay. So speaking of you being the face of the wormhole, let's talk about the other big thing other than the podcast, which is the stream. So let's talk about early days of streaming. You talked about how it looked a little bit different back then, but just how hard is it to get a Twitch stream off the ground?
It's not really hard. You just have to buy all the equipment, but you won't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's OBS is its own nightmare, which is the broadcasting system that we use. It
Mm-hmm.
constantly crashed,
Mm-hmm.
constantly crashed.
Yeah.
Phil Grimaldi, here, I'm going to tell you a quick story. Phil Grimaldi, who's
Mm-hmm.
the godfather of Space City Pinball,
Mm-hmm.
gave me a blueprint, Aaron. Literally wrote everything down and showed me how to stream. Now, did I listen to anything he said? No. You know why? Because I wanted to do it myself.
Of course. Uh-huh.
And
Got to learn it for yourself.
you know what? You got to learn it. And that's the key is that but I wanted to learn and make mistakes. And we used webcams in the beginning. It was a wired setup,
Mm-hmm.
didn't look good. I went on the cheap, and then finally I just bought Grimaldi's stuff because
Yeah.
he was streaming before COVID. He was a Space City streamer, and he was streaming TPF and Space City Open. And
Mm-hmm.
I just said, look, I don't know if we want to do these tournaments yet, but I definitely want all your stuff. So
Uh-huh.
bought it, and then I just have upgraded. I'm constantly tinkering to the point where Brandon, your friend Brandon, who's our IT support,
Mm-hmm.
he's geeking on it too. So like everything we've done from the first stream in 2019 to today, it's just gotten better.
Yeah. That's great. And the rig is behind you right now. And I know we
Yeah,
just
one of the
filmed.
rigs. This is rig one or two.
Yeah. And we just recently recorded a video when I was there about kind of like walking through it. But for someone who can't see that, might be listening. Can you like describe the rig a little bit and how it's evolved over time?
Well, again, Jack Danger gave us all the blueprint and how to do it. And you go to 8020.net or something, and you can put in the dimensions of the metal,
Mm-hmm.
right? We wanted metal. Some people like wood. Some people like pipes. You could do whatever the hell you want. Doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
just like this 8020 was just stupid proof. Uh, we use Axoon, and those are the black things on top that have the antennas. They're the best. Unfortunately, they're wicked expensive. And
Sure.
we were using other ones before, and the interference. Anyone that watches my stream, when something goes wrong, and something always goes wrong, I can't handle it. I lose my mind. So every upgrade we've made is to just fix that
Mm-hmm.
so that we don't have those errors. And
And
so
now you have the room cam too that you can carry around and stuff as well.
the room cam, which will be great for the Twippies, I'm going
Oh,
to be fooling
sure.
around with that next. This Saturday is our 4X.
Yes.
So coming up, today's a Monday, is the 30th. So
Mhm.
January 4th, I'll be fooling around with some more stuff for the Twippies.
Oh, cool. Testing out some new
Yeah,
things.
we started out with camcorders 2
Mm-hmm.
was the second iteration was camcorders, but the video stunk. So I had to upgrade to the ZV-1s. And then once you upgrade one camera to the ZV-1s, you lose your mind because now you have to upgrade all cameras to ZV-1.
Of course, they all got to look that good.
And then you need a second rig
Yep.
because the first rig is great, but you don't want downtime. Like downtime
Mm-hmm.
drives me crazy. So I'm like, let's just go to another rig. Let's just do it. So
Yeah, I know. And now with new locations potentially coming for Wormhole in the near future, the rig
yeah,
numbers are just going to keep going up.
yeah, but I'll let you in on a little secret here.
Okay.
This rig is going to be completely changing.
Okay.
Uh, and we're going to take the Xsoons and use them for different locations. What I'll use the Xsoons for is for Space City Open and TPF. What I'm going
Okay.
to use here internally is just internal Wi-Fi. Is going
Cool.
to stream everything onto
Okay.
the network.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Ah,
I
man, it's been fun to see it evolve. You need like a side by side of your old stream with your new stream once you get the new one set up for a video.
I take a lot of pride to make sure it's a good television show, you know? That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to produce is a TV show on the stream. So
Yeah. So with that in mind, what are some of your favorite streaming memories? Stuff that your favorite moments so far?
those so I do write a script before each one and I stress myself out before each interview. The
Oh, sorry, I
one
meant for the stream, not the podcast,
oh, the
but
stream.
I'll take both of them. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the stream. My favorite
Yeah,
moments
yeah,
on
yeah.
the stream.
Uh-huh. Then we'll do
Uh,
podcast too.
okay. In 2020, we did, maybe it's 2019, we went to Free Play Arlington, and it was a
Mhm.
debacle, and their internet sucked, and I streamed the Texas Championship.
Mhm.
And if you go back online they stuck me in a corner, it was the worst streaming operation I've ever done. But the match between Kyle McAlpine and Phil Grimaldi on Monster Bash
Monster
is one of the
Bash.
greatest things I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
Space City Open, Wesley Johnson on stream was one of my favorite things when he won the Space City Open
That's my favorite.
against Mark Reserve.
Hmm.
That really was awesome. That was awesome. Because Wesley, hometown, we claim him as a wormholer. It was
Hmm.
really, really fun. Those are my favorite streams on tournament wise.
Hmm.
The Monday streams where we're just fooling around, I I love all those machines when we just do those. So we're gonna
Yeah.
really get back to that in 2025.
Cool. No, the Monday streams are some of my favorite to watch too. I think, the tournaments show off some of the other great skill around town and like
Yeah,
just the network of people in Houston and some of the best players. And the Monday streams are just fun, you know?
fun.
They're goofy, they're a blast. Y'all just do whatever the heck you want. And I feel like that's where you get the feel of what Wormhole is through those Monday
I do too.
streams.
I think, Donovan dressing up and Donovan making a drink for the day, any of these crazy things have been really fun.
Yeah, well, I didn't have this in hurry up questions last year. Favorite Donovan costume from stream to shout
Ooh,
him out there.
what did he do? For Oktoberfest, he did something really goofy, and one time he was David Bowie, and he did a really good David Bowie.
Yes, very
So
good.
I'll say David Bowie, but then uh, also Tandy did a Saint Nick, and we tried to do Tandy to do Saint Nick this year, but I couldn't
Uh-huh.
get his schedule, and he takes it very seriously. Like he doesn't want to be called off camera Tandy. He
Huh.
takes method acting very seriously.
Okay. Very good.
So that was fun.
Very cool. All right. And then I have a random question here for you, which is you
Please.
own World Cup Soccer and
That's it.
if you were gonna buy one more, which would it be?
Sopranos.
Sopranos? Okay. Would you actually buy that, or is that like a, nah,
No, no, no. I want a Sopranos.
you want that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's the next one because I'm going to donate World Cup Soccer to the foundation. So
Oh, cool.
I'll then maybe get myself a Sopranos.
You'll have an opening.
Yeah, I really love that show. I loved it so much, and I like that dumb game. And a Congo would have been on my list, but
Hmm.
we finally got a Congo.
In
It's
the
just in
wormhole
Europe.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy something that Tim and Christine and John already have. That doesn't make sense.
Which that eliminates a lot of machines.
It
So,
generates a couple hundred,
yeah.
250 something. So,
Whew, wow. All right. So now typically my main job is talking to scientists and helping them share their stories. And there's something I always ask them. So I want to ask this for you too. Out of everything you've done with Wormhole, what's something you're most personally proud of?
I think the growth of the brand,
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really proud of because I think when people see this shirt or if you tell, when we started, no one knew who the hell we were and what we were doing. The fact that people come and wear wormhole shirts and I don't know who they are,
Yeah.
and that they love what we're doing and they love our community, that's my favorite thing.
That's so cool. And I think on top of people coming to Wormhole, you've been seeing Wormhole shirts out at other expos, right? At like Chicago and Houston and like
I
TPF. What
know.
is that like?
Weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Sorry, they're mowing outside. Can you hear it?
I can't, no.
Okay, good. So that means they can't.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
When people come up and say hello and they want to say hello to me and that they listen to the podcast and they listen to watch the stream, I'm really blown away.
Yeah.
It's so nice. It's so nice. But it was
Uh-huh.
nothing like going to Vegas at a Celtic convention. I was a
Oh,
freaking celebrity.
wow. Man, do you want to get to that level in pinball?
I don't know. I like that I can hide behind the wormhole logo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's Jamie from the wormhole, and that it's a collective, it's all of us. And that I'm just the one that's, public facing. I'm okay with that.
Sure. It's funny. Speaking of both mowing the lawn and that same sort of thing. So I play a lot at Game Preserve NASA as my other place other than Wormhole. And someone new came to a tournament the other day and met me. And after hearing my voice, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I just listened to the podcast from Wormhole with you on it while I was mowing the grass this past weekend." And I
Isn't
was
that
like,
great?
well, look at that. I've already got an in with someone new, and they listened to the one where I was on the BBC,
That
episode.
came out
And
good. We edited that one really nicely.
yes, I was just like, wow, that's pretty fun. I've never had someone recognize me for my voice before, not for a video that I've been in. So that was a first.
Yeah. I got that a lot in Vegas. Like I would be talking to someone and they look at me and they go, "Are you Jamie from the Lost Boys?" And I was like, "Oh gosh." Oh,
Uh-huh. Very cool. Also, just have to give a shout out to this fly that is
it is
absolutely bombing this
absolutely
entire podcast. If you're not
killing
watching the
me.
video version, it is like going extremely in front of the camera constantly.
Can you see
So,
it?
yes. Oh,
So
every time it goes by.
here's what happens, right? Because we're not open to the public.
Uh-huh.
All right. So whoever was here last left the lime out.
Oh,
Okay. So these are fruit flies. And it's right.
yeah.
And I got them. It's a fruit fly because someone made their own margaritas in here and
Oh,
forgot to throw out the lime.
there you go. Behind the scenes of what the wormhole is really like right there,
Just throw it away. But
Yeah.
we're learning. It's okay. It's no big deal.
Yeah. And, we're at the end of this year for 2024. So, what are some of the big milestones that you feel like Wormhole hit this past year? Like, personally, for one, I don't know. Have you ever shouted out the new mural on the podcast yet?
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't think
'Cause
on
that
the
was one that I thought was very cool. So,
mural was a good day. She took a long time. We had bad weather
uh-huh.
and then it was my first time trying to do time lapse and I didn't do a very good job.
I
But
think it turned out good.
next time we do something mural-esque, it'll be okay. No, it's
Yeah.
just not good enough. You know what I mean? I'm crazy.
She filmed it too, though, and the artist and put out a really good video
Hers is
too.
better. Hers is
Yeah.
better.
But yeah, any other like things that you felt like were really big milestones for 2024?
Well, I think getting the Twippies and being, not a ward of the Twippies, but partnering with the Twippies was a really big moment in 2024 for the
Yeah.
one. The relationships that I've developed through the podcast have been really great.
Hmm.
And for them to think about us and to say, you know what, we want to have the new Pinball Community Awards at the Wormhole permanently for years and years to come. That was a big
Yeah.
moment. I geeked on that.
Uh-huh.
And then I called you pretty much right away on that one.
Yeah.
Give me some great advice, and I think we're following through on that, right?
I
So
think so. I'm pumped to see how it all turns out.
uh, that, and then you know what? It just happened to me a couple weeks ago. I got invited to Stern to go see the new release,
That's awesome. Yes.
which I'm assuming is D&D, but everyone, nobody says anything in this hobby, which makes no
Uh-huh.
sense.
Yeah.
Still, that
Uh-huh.
it has to be top secret. Just say it's D&D, and we're gonna go see it. I'm gonna go see it. So, but
Oh, I hope it is. I said I really want that theme, so we'll see.
never played a game of D&D in my life.
Wow. Well, I'm a big old nerd in a lot of different ways. So I watch Dungeons and Dragons streaming content all the time more than I play. And I'm going to New York in January to see a live game of D&D at Madison Square Garden from my favorite streaming
I am
series.
on, see, I keep doing the wrong podcast, right? I do Celtics supporters, which was great, but it's only one club, right? And then I
Mhm.
do a culture, a subculture of a subculture for pinball.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
look
would
at
have
that.
chose, Magic the Gathering or D&D on Twitch.
You
You
could be
never
at
know.
Madison Square Garden right now,
I
man.
could have been there. Damn it.
Well, that's the thing. You just got to be responsible for growing it big enough. Well, D&D didn't used to be that big, so you'll be part of the rise,
I don't
right?
see a convention in Madison Square Garden, but that would be pretty BA.
We'll see. I'm imagining like someone playing it right in the middle, broadcast up there. You can be commenting the whole thing. See, that's what I was saying. Shoot for the stars for
I
the
am.
big thing.
I'll keep trying.
There you go. Okay, well, on that note, here's my last question before we go into the rapid fire stuff.
Okay.
Looking forward, 5-year plan. Where do you see Wormhole streaming and the podcast going?
I think the podcast will just continue to grow and keep telling interesting stories. What I
Mm-hmm.
want to do is tell more intricate stories. Like if you go in and say my favorite ones, like Daniel Peck, me and you did,
Mm-hmm.
Daniela Peck, that was outstanding. I
Right.
really enjoyed those. Getting people's stories out there that normally haven't been told is pretty darn exciting.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just keep finding these hidden talents and telling their stories for years to come. Uh,
Love that. The storytelling aspect of it.
I'd like to get this TV show off the ground. That could be
Yes.
pretty wild.
Okay.
And decide if we just want to do it ourselves,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we might. Maybe we'll just do it ourselves.
We'll
And
see. If someone out there wants to bankroll this, hit us up, but
yeah, but I want to host it. So don't just come in and say bankroll it and then just choose
with
Aaron.
Jamie hosting.
I know that there are better options, but I want to do it. So
Yeah.
we'll see. That is a good 5-year plan, I think. And then,
Okay.
the Wormhole brand is just to continue to grow it, to continue to show what we are as a foundation, to
Hmm.
continue to work with neurodivergent individuals, to continue to hire neurodivergent individuals, to work
Hmm.
with Project Pinball,
Hmm.
and do all these great things on a community aspect. That's really where I want to see it go.
Yeah, and on that note, how do you see it growing within the Houston community as a whole, Wormhole, and kind of, I guess, where do you see the Houston community growing? Because I feel like it's grown so much in the last
It,
just 2 years since I've been a
yeah,
part of it.
I think it's grown from so many different locations.
Yeah.
And we're a big city, ladies and gentlemen. We're the fourth largest city in the United States. So, Einstein's and some of those locations out in Katy and Richmond, they might not be a good for someone that lives in central Houston.
Hmm.
So that, now that we have Eureka Heights,
Hmm.
Eighth Wonder, all these different places in Houston, we have gotten new players. And then inevitably someone will say to them, "This is great, but have you been to Wormhole?"
Yep.
And that just shows how great our community is, that they're like, look, this place in the Heights is so fun. You got to go and play a 4X there. And
Yeah.
that's why we're getting 60 plus people for those now. So,
Yeah,
what we
you're right. There's so many top-notch locations. Like any one of these would be a thing that you go to any other city and people be like, you got to go to Little Dipper, Poison Girl, Game
I know
Preserve, Eureka
we can
Heights. It's so
absolutely.
many.
They're
And
really, and each group that manages those locations are
mhm,
fantastic and they love the pinball community. So why would we not continue to support those?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
the stewards of Space City Pinball, give them a shout out, right? Like the
Uh-huh.
board, Elizabeth Dronay and Gammons and all these guys, they've done a great job of keeping Space City Pinball growth and the tight community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, Wormhole kind of, because of its central location and quality, becomes sort of a hub for all of that. So,
I
yeah.
hope so.
All right. And now it is time for our rapid fire game that you've gotten to deliver a ton of times, but now you get to give your answers for the hurry up.
All right, I'm
All right.
excited. I don't
And
know
as I
any of
said,
these questions. Damn.
yeah, I know that Jamie has not been given a preview of any of these. So, and a big shout out to Donovan Wade for helping me write these, especially some of the sports one, because I don't know baseball very well.
Oh,
So,
bad.
I did have to Google a couple of these, be like, what am I asking Jamie right now? So, you
I'll
know,
walk you through it.
okay, sounds good. All right, well, first one, this is one for me to start out, but
Okay.
what is your grandbaby's current favorite pinball machine? I'm assuming based on lights and colors, but
So Lucas, we have a Jurassic Park LE in the house right now that we're borrowing from the wormhole, and
uh-huh,
he is addicted to it. He really likes the dinosaurs, and
good.
his fingers are all over that glass.
Good. And I also did see he got a pinball machine for Christmas
He
too.
got
So
a
his
little
little one.
Tykes.
Uh-huh.
A little tight
Adorable.
pinball machine. He just wants to play multi-ball. That's all he
Okay.
wants. Just like all of
Understandable.
us.
Don't
Just
we
get the
all?
multi-ball.
So, yeah. Okay. Steinbrenner or Billy Martin?
Steinbrenner.
Okay.
Steinbrenner is the owner of the Yankees. Billy Martin was the longtime manager of the Yankees. They feuded constantly, but Billy's a pain in the ass. So I'll go with
Okay. All right. And then what is John Spates, one of the earlier mentioned
hmm
Wormhole 5? What is his stronger skill, playing pinball or getting in people's heads?
he's the both him and Tim have that ability, by the way.
Yeah.
But the phrase that we have here is what's going on over here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And that is a John Spatesism where if you are blowing up a machine and he is in your group, you are going to hear what's going on over here.
See, that's why you wear the headphones, right? It's the John
Right.
Spates blocker there.
You
So,
did, because he will come up and say, and once I hear what's coming on over here, I'm done. That is draining in 10
yeah.
minutes, 10
It's the
seconds.
equivalent, it's equivalent of why are you so playing so great? You're doing so well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good move.
All right. Theater of Magic or Tales of the Arabian Nights?
Theater magic.
Okay.
I don't
Most
like,
bes-
I
you
don't
don't
like
like that one?
Totan. I don't like Totan.
Okay.
I can't get a groove in it.
I've never played that one, only the virtual
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah.
It's
Theater of
pretty
Magic plenty,
awesome.
but
It's
yeah.
pretty great.
All right. Most bizarre machine in the vault.
Oh, gosh. Io Moon is really bizarre.
Yeah.
It it's really bizarre. I keep going to it. It's like one of my favorites
Hmm.
because the cabinet's all screwed up and we really got to fix the cabinet. But
Hmm.
it is such a Spanish ripoff of 2001: A Space Odyssey, all the way down to music, that it's so fun that you can't believe they got away with this. I mean, they just ripped it all off. Those are
Yeah.
really fun.
Cool. Is that you think that one's coming out anytime soon?
We got to fix the cabinet because it looks like crap.
Okay. So
But
that
once
got to do
people
that
play
first.
Io Moon, they're gonna geek on that one.
Cool. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your ability to fix a pinball machine? 10 being Brian Foytik.
I can get a stuck ball out.
So we
Uh,
got a 1 or a 2 in
2.3,
there.
2.3,
Okay.
2.3. I can open the cabinet, get a stuck ball out, and I can tighten the nut.
Incredible.
Yeah.
More easily sidetracked on stream, you or Donovan?
Both have ADD. Me.
Okay. Top pinball location slash event that you still want to attend?
I have to go to Electric Bats Tuesday. That's high, high, high on my list.
Yeah, I
That's
think I'm
Tuesday.
going in February, so
Are
I'm
you going
I'm
on
pumped.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Isn't
I
it so random? Like everyone's like, you have to go to this great place, but it has to be Tuesday.
yeah, I mean coincidentally, I'm going on a trip to Flagstaff with my mom and we're flying out of Phoenix on Wednesday, so we're going to stay over Tuesday night and go to
Oh, you have to take
Electric Bat.
pictures.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's my
we're
number
gonna do
one.
that.
I have to get there. I got to go see them, and then I want to go see Quarter Drop
Yes,
and go see my friend Co.
absolutely. Do a in-person Arcades Across America.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I like it. All right, best New York pizza spot.
John's on 44th.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind for when I go in January for my
No, it's
D&D.
really, really good. It's an old church,
Okay,
and it's coal fire, which there's not a lot of coal fire ovens in New York City.
sure. Hmm.
John's,
Okay.
not John's
Uh,
on Bleecker. John's on 44th.
Very important.
Yeah, they're different.
Okay. All right. Most surprising interview you've done for the podcast. It can be either good or bad.
So I did a bad one.
Okay.
I did a bad one. I'm not gonna out them, okay,
Hmm.
them, but it was terrible. I was having like anxiety before the podcast, and I was
Hmm.
nervous. I have anxiety. Anyone
Hmm.
that knows me, and you just see it in my face that Jamie
Uh-huh.
struggles with it sometimes. And I was just having a bad mental day, and
Uh-huh.
then it carried into the podcast, and I
Mm.
literally had a panic on the podcast. And to this day, I can't even listen to that one
Oh boy.
because it drove. Poor guy. I was
All right.
just. It took so much editing to get it to be somewhat decent.
Well, we'll keep it a secret then, and
No,
I'm
it's
sure no one will
okay.
know.
I'm in a better place.
Good.
But
Good.
it was just that was a really bad one.
Bad day.
It was a bad day.
All right. You, Kale, and Rachel step up to Galactic Tank Force. Who wins?
Me.
Oh,
They're
nice.
they're too blinded by hatred on that machine to know what the heck they should be doing. Now,
Okay.
the only problem is our Galactic Tank Force, sometimes the 4-player didn't work, so 3 might work.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
I'll wipe the floor with them on that.
Amazing. Okay. Well, now if you go for a Tuesday, do they still have theirs?
No, they sold theirs.
Ah, dang.
They
Okay.
dumped that quick. Ours
Okay.
is in the vault. Ours is in the vault now.
Okay. Yeah, it had its time at Wormhole for
Had a
sure.
good run.
Absolutely. All right. Who is the best Baldwin?
Alec.
All right.
Yeah, I like Alec. And I like Steven. Steven's pretty funny on Usual Suspects. That's a good movie.
That's
They're from
underrated.
Massapequa. You know why he asked that? They're from Massapequa, Long Island,
Uh-huh.
and that's where I'm from.
That's your hometown.
Yeah, so we
All
have the
right.
Baldwins and Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay. Very good. And then you need a Seinfeld pinball machine. So
I don't know. I don't think so.
that's
The music
that
itself doesn't lend to it.
great startup sound,
Yeah,
so
it'd be a good startup, but
yeah.
eventually that's going to annoy the hell out of you.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Underrated pinball experience or location that people don't know about.
Underrated pinball location that people don't know about. Well, do they know about the Contemporary Hotel?
I don't know.
The Contemporary Hotel. One of my goals to get on the podcast is the GM of Disney and the Contemporary Hotel,
Okay.
because that place got me through a lot of problems when I moved to Florida. And they had a lot of pinball, and I played it, but I wasn't very good at it. You know, I played other games, but that's a kind of, people don't know that the Contemporary Hotel at one point had the largest arcade in America, and it was, so maybe that could be underrated.
That's good. And do you have any one in Houston you feel like more people should
Oh,
know
in
about
Houston.
too? That's just a separate question. Yeah.
You know, I like Little Dipper, and
I
that's
love Little
starting to
Dipper
really
too.
grow. And I like
Yeah.
Poison Girl, and that's still growing. Eighth Wonder is a nice little secret. No, it's new to pinball,
Mhm.
and they've got a good 8 machines over there. So I'm gonna go with Eighth Wonder.
Cool. Yeah, I'll pick Little Dipper for mine because I mean they gave out free Christmas cookies at the last tournament. What could be better than that? So,
Jessica and Jamie do a good job over there.
yeah.
They help run that, and they do a great job at Little Dipper.
Yeah. All right. Least favorite Yankee of all time.
Oh, uh, Jacoby Ellsbury. I mean, that contract was embarrassing. Yeah,
Okay.
didn't like it.
Uh, I have no context, but yeah,
We
sure.
signed into
Sounds
this
good.
big deal from Boston, and he didn't do crap. It was a
Okay.
disaster.
All
There's like
right.
3 people that are going to be nodding their head right here. That's
Okay. But
that
those
is
three
out of a
people, they
thousand
really
that
did it.
doesn't. 3 people go.
Nice.
Yeah, he's right on Jacoby.
Least favorite machine that's ever been at Wormhole.
Least favorite machine that has ever been. See, this is a trick question because I force myself to keep playing it.
Mm,
And Warlock would have been on that list, and I had been hell bent. I wanted Warlock the hell out of here, and
yeah.
now I love Warlock. So you just gotta. Right now, it's Future Queen that I want the hell out of here,
Okay.
but because it's just so random and it's just weird, and it's
Yeah.
not a good tournament
It's hard to
game.
figure out what to do on it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
say
see.
Future Queen.
My guess was that you were going to say, was it class of 1812 or
Oh,
something
I
like that?
hate that game.
That's
It
what I thought you
really,
were going to say. Yeah.
I forgot. I've literally shut 1812 out of my head because I hate
Okay.
that game so much. Because it's
Yeah.
so loud, ladies and gentlemen. That's the problem. Its call outs are obnoxious. It doesn't shut up. When you're here by yourself trying to write or edit a podcast or anything, 1812 doesn't shut up. It's already
Yeah.
been here twice, so I
No
don't want
more.
1812 back. Good call.
Yeah. All right. Better feeling winning a tournament or seeing huge viewing numbers like podcast downloads or
Winning a
Instagram
tournament.
likes. Yeah. Very good.
And I don't win hardly ever, so it's such a rare. Finishing top 3 at the wormhole, getting a picture taken, that's really my goal.
Very good. And I asked least favorite machine at Wormhole. Favorite machine that's ever been at Wormhole?
Medieval Madness.
Okay. That was before my
Original
time.
Medieval Madness, and it's coming back. I love it
Ooh.
so much. that it's coming back. We're getting rid of Future Queen, I think. I think I'm pulling the
Okay.
trigger for this weekend
Okay.
and bringing Medieval back.
Ooh, that would be awesome. All right, last one. What are
Hmm.
you most looking forward to the pinball world in 2025?
There's some really neat titles that are being rumored
Hmm.
that I'd really like to see. Um, I'm really excited to see what Barrels does next.
Hmm.
I don't know. They don't
Hmm.
tell me anything. I'm not signed to that NDA.
Uh,
Uh, but Kong sounds really awesome. I mean,
yeah,
how
that
can you
would be
screw up
cool.
Kong, right? It can't. It's gonna be, and it's Elwin, if
Hmm.
that's true.
That would be so great.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do not that Kong Skull Island crap, right?
Mm.
It's got to
More
be
like
the
what Godzilla did. So,
yeah, it's got to be the Empire State Building. You can't, it's got to
yeah,
be the old time with the biplanes shooting at them.
that would be so
They
great.
got to do that. I'm gonna tell them again. Well, I'm gonna tell them when I go up there.
Okay. When you
Is
got your personal inside connection now at Stern.
I'm like, come on, guys, you're not gonna screw this one up, are you? Because this is gonna
Yeah.
be great. No, they're not going to. The. It's weird. Like pinball, you listen to some podcasts and pinball's in the druthers, right? You listen to other podcasts and we're all happy as hell. I think this is
Hmm.
a great time to be a pinball fan and to have pinball content. It's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, prices are high. Prices are high for everything. Go buy
Yeah.
some bacon. So, I just don't understand the negativity, Erin, for some of these
Hmm.
other podcasters. We're just here to have fun, talk about
Yeah.
pinball, and just enjoy it. And I really think 2025 is going to be a great year for that.
Totally agreed. Pinball, it's just a fun thing, you know? It's just
It's addicting as hell.
absolutely. And we have so many machines from history. We got so many new ones coming out. It's a great time to be in pinball. And also, the fly did come back in case you were wondering. So, the very important info for all the listeners, the fly did fly past the camera again.
Yeah,
So.
it's all over the place.
All
It's
right. Congratulations. You have completed the hurry up, Jamie.
Thank you so much. That's fun. I love the hurry up.
Very good. Well, again, that's all I had for you for questions. Thank you for hosting 50 great episodes. I've had fun listening, and I think it's been
Oh,
really
thank you
cool
so
to
much.
hear more and more people get to know about Wormhole, get to know about you and all the rest of the awesome crew that plays in Houston, and can't wait to see how it continues to grow.
What was your favorite podcast that you sat on?
That I was
Do
a
you have
part
a
of.
favorite?
Oh, Danielle's Heck, as you said earlier, was my favorite. My favorite to listen to was the Electric Bat Crew. I really
The
did
first one with me and Donovan, or the arcades across America?
with you and Donovan. I it was very fun to have Donovan be a part of it, who's such a fan of them too, and also you just giving Donovan crap
And
for
he
that
was
as
so
well,
nervous.
which
He
was
was
very
so
fun.
nervous.
But I liked it Danielle's too because I feel like there was a lot of just I don't know diving into more than just the surface level. It was like a
Mhm.
lot of true feelings about all that sort of thing
Yeah,
and
it was like,
pinball. Yeah.
remember, well, you're too young, but when I was a kid, there used to be like on a very special episode of Family Ties,
Oh,
and
sure.
Michael J. Fox gets drunk or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So once in a while, I want to have a very special episode of Wormhole Pinball.
Yeah. I think that would be cool. And I think I've heard some podcasts that do like replays or like will put together some of their favorite segments too. I feel like that would be cool to get a little montage, even if it's of like hurry up segments or something of some of the best of the podcast so far. I think that would be fun. The
Not
fly's back again. Sorry, y'all.
You can't leave limes out at an empty building. It's not a good move.
No, but no.
Thank you
So
so much, Erin. I really appreciate you. This was a lot of fun.
of course. No, it was great. Hope you didn't mind being having turned around and questions asked to you.
No,
How
I
did it
was
feel?
nervous. I yapped a lot. I'm sorry. We'll have to
That's
edit
the
it out.
point. That's the point of being the person who's being interviewed. You're supposed to talk.
Oh, okay.
Anything else you want to share with the people that you don't normally get to say?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, check out spacecitypinball.com and the calendar of events. Go to IFPA and check out the calendar of events. If here's my public service. This is good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go play competitive pinball. It is wicked fun. Okay. It is so competitive, but it's so much fun. Go to your local place and just like Rachel and Kale will say, constantly. Anyone that plays competitive pinball that owns a bar or owns an establishment will tell you, just try it once. And you're going to get hooked, I'm telling you. And this community will help you. They will help you change the in lanes. They will tell you about dead bouncing. They will tell you to trap up and not just wail. They will help you. Look at Erin. Erin is making it to the top 24 in the state of Texas women's.
Yeah.
Okay. You just started
I'm 12
playing.
out of 16 right now. Hopefully it lasts 2 more days. So
2 more days is all she needs to get out of the 16. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exciting, right? I mean, so that's my pitch to you. Go play in a tournament. Go to ifpa.com and see a list of events and just say, I'm new here. Can you help me? That's all you've got to say. And I guarantee you, every person will come and help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, in most places, I've played in Tennessee, I've played in Florida, I've played in North Carolina, I've played here in Texas, and across the board, pinball people are pretty great.
They're really great.
Yeah.
They
And
really are.
I'll do the plug for Jamie. Go subscribe and follow Wormhole Pinball on Twitch and YouTube and Instagram and all the places. Appreciate you listening to the podcast all of this time and supporting in all the places. As you know, the Twippies are going to be on YouTube. The streams are on Twitch. We're making fun stuff on Instagram now. So
Oh my
follow us all the
gosh.
places to be just bombarded with Jamie and I for the next year.
Well, thank you, Erin, for everything that you do for the Wormhole. We really appreciate it. This partnership has been amazing, and I look forward to continuing it in 2025 and forward.
Of course. Thank you all for listening. Have a great new year. Hope you had a happy holidays and talk to you at a competitive pinball tournament soon.
Happy New Year.